I will tell you this. I got choke slammed into a ball pit. And it took me a while to get out. That was kind of scary. So yeah, we didn't. That wasn't part of the plan. We didn't talk about that.
You shouldn't have told me.
But like my brother, he got to go over. He's the man of the hour. I can't beat him. So we had go big or go home. You know.
If I pull my shit out, this whole room get dark.
I'ma talk my shit. Fat finger, let me talk my shit. Damn right, I'm gonna talk my shit. I.E. in this bitch, love. Never resting on my laurels. The definition of a core when they start questioning your.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second episode of Talk Your Shit, where, as you know, we take the time to identify and recognize somebody from the IE doing their thing. So, in this episode, we have Kwency Jones. I've known this man a very long time. Was the first artist to give me a shot on doing a collaboration within the IE. So I rock with him heavy. Give him his proper round of applause. Kwency Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. You know, the irony of that is anytime I talk about you, that's what I say about you. This is the first dude in the IE that ever wanted to collab with me.
Yeah, that's
so yeah.
It's mutual.
I always remember that. Always mad love since then, man. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you for flowers, man.
Oh yeah, this is talk your shit. This is what we do. So the first thing I wanted to know is, when did you know you wanted to rap?
Honestly, it's funny because I didn't start with rap. I knew I wanted to get in music. My mom sat, single mother, twin boys, got to keep us captivated, right? She can't keep an eye on both of us all the time. What she do? Michael Jackson's on the screen, so she's sitting in front of Michael Jackson watching him do his thing. From then on, we were like, well, this entertainment thing, this music thing is crazy. You know, from then on, it's from that to like, we're seeing like Boyz II Men, Jodeci, Eazy-E, NWA. We're seeing all this stuff, and it's like, it kind of correlates a little bit the same timeline with I know we're going to get into that with like my love with wrestling, but it's like the same kind of chemistry. You see these larger than life characters coming at the screen. I'm old, you know, so it was MTV Raps back then still, before it was MTV Jams and all that. But we were watching this stuff and just like, we would listen to them and then we would emulate them. We would know the words. And then we started writing our own versions of it. We're like thinking, at that time, we're thinking, oh, we could do the same thing. This is nothing, right? And then fast forward to like, I think me and my brother were maybe about 8 years old. My mom got us like a karaoke machine. And, you know, because we was always singing anyways all around the house and shit. But then realized that there was like a record button on there. Then we got smart and realizing that, you can get blank tapes and try to do your own thing. And we didn't know what we were doing back then. We were like basically doing what I guess people call like mixtape freestyles, their own renditions of like songs and stuff like that back then. And then we realized, this is actually what people do. Like this, and then we started getting more and more into the culture, reading magazines, you know, freaking getting up on a Source, Vibe, freaking Double XL, learning about other people. Because it's crazy that a lot of our love for like music came from a lot of artists from the East Coast very early. Yeah. And so like that, we learned about punchlines because there wasn't a big thing about like metaphors, schemes, and punchlines until like you heard a lot of like the punchline rappers. You know what I mean? So a lot of that East Coast flavor came into us like real early as well. But I'd say like around that like 8-9-year-old threshold, that's when we knew we wanted to do music. But when it was rap, it's like, probably 10, 11, 12 years old.
That's what's up.
And I'm a twin. So it was like, hey, this could be marketable. You never know, you know? So we saw, and then it's actually the fault of Crisscross because they, you know, that's like the prime example of like young kids like your age. You're like, oh shit, this is actually like a possibility maybe. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'd rock my shit backwards, but you know, I mean,
I did.
I'm thinking like, I think I can write better than Miggity Miggity Mac. You know what I mean? You know, but from there, it's just like, it just evolved, man. It was just the culture just kind of, you know, it was hard not to like gravitate towards it. So ever since then, it was either dancing or music or both, and we just kind of just went into the rap, dude.
You say that, and shout out to Doc.
Yeah, man.
The dopest
I was
twins.
going to say that a lot of people at the top of their lungs all say "Miggity Miggity Mac" when that part comes.
What?
I had a surprise birthday party last year, and then we met at the spot that had bowling, and they had karaoke, and they played Crisscross, and of course, me and my brother, 37 years old, were like, yeah, we still know the words. we was out there performing. It was fun. I mean, it's one of those things where it was funny because it came on, it resonated with us. So it's like, I'll yell it. I'll yell it. Yeah, anytime a shit come on, I'm on it, man. Yeah, for sure.
And them is, I gotta say, like both you and your brother are dope lyrically
I appreciate
by
you.
yourselves.
I appreciate you.
But like when the combination gets together, that's a fucking lethal fucking combination.
It's crazy because like we tag in and out in terms of like lately I'm the calm one. Like he be wanting to like behind like closed doors. There's a lot of shit. You know, we got a lot of similarities when it comes to our kind of experience in the IE scene, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where he'll see some shit and want to fly off the handle, and I'm like, yo, chill. Like, and I'm usually the one that was in the past. I'm like, yo, I'm down to just throw down
Yeah.
ball. Fuck these niggas. And I'm like, nah, bro, you gotta just chill. Because I'm like, do you have a whole plan? Because I know they do. They politic, and then they got a whole, you know, artillery in they bag. They waiting, bro. But it's like my brother. Shout out to him. He was like. That fool has what, like 12 mixtapes? And I say that for real because like this dude he didn't know what he was doing, but he knew he was doing. He was designing shit on like fucking word art, printing that shit out of, on computer printers, going to the library, printing that shit out, having to look out online, ordering, figure out like, oh, jewel cases. What the fuck are jewel cases? Burning. Like he was doing a lot of that shit before people were doing that shit, like at a huge degree, getting huge burners and shit like that. He was doing like shout out to Identity Crisis. That was his first ever fucking mixtape. I still remember to this day. He photocopied his ID and had to fucking blank out everything. My mom saw it. She's like, you can't be putting your address on here. It's like, oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Let me redo this. But yeah, he honestly taught me a lot when it comes to music. I always sucked compared to him. And then I found my voice, and he always hyped me up when he saw something, and he'd let me grow, put 2 cents in, let me grow. And then he would always say, hey man, you passed me up. I'm like, nah, shut the fuck up. You know
I was about to ask that too.
But he'll say that to me knowing that it's gonna like get me even more. But that's why I like him, because we're competitive, but real enough to be like, hey, I know your arsenal and you can get that off a little bit better than what you did. I think you let that off a little too light, or I may have heard someone else do it too similar. You're better than that, or something like, you know what I mean? Or I'm like, I think you could dig deeper on that rhyme scheme, whatever. So having like a yin and yang to play back to back like that, especially in the studio, like we'll tell each other like, hey, it sounded great to you in the headphones, but I'm the one who was recording it. Nah, it wasn't it. You know what I mean? So having something like that, like valuable, you know what I mean? And then having him have your back, doing this rap
That's
thing
gotta
with
be
him.
dope.
And I mean, doing the twin thing was always great. I mean, obviously the name, we had to do some shit with the name. We were Twin Towers before the towers fell. And so that didn't do us any favors. But transition, did a little bit of the wrestling stuff. But man, I always loved like when we finally got kind of like cut into the IE scene, meeting guys like Diesel and stuff like that. Guys that are really like kings of their craft that really go out. I mean, even the fact that I was like, I had to be a low-key Joe Budden fan until I met you.
Yeah.
Because everybody got something to say about him. And I'm like, oh.
She don't like Joe Budden.
I can understand why. No. I can separate the artist and the man.
Yeah.
My whole face changed. I cannot stand him.
The last time I smiled seeing him is when when they had the whole OVO party scene on the show. I was like, I ain't not seen him do that in a while. But I don't know, man. Yeah, it's been cool, man. It's been real cool watching you grow, watching you do so much more. Not even just with the rap, but other stuff with this and everything like that. But even watching, like, again, it's funny, same journey. Like, we feel like we both gave each other a shot, but it's like, I watch you go and do so much and get accepted by other people and do more collabs and stuff like that. And I also seen kind of people running from collabs, to keep it honest with you. You know what I mean? So it's like...
Yeah, I've had that conversation a few times. It sucks because we, me and you and your brother, we both believe in that punchline bar out. That's why I never understood Drake's stance on that control verse, because when I heard it, I was like, nigga, that's the norm. We want to body somebody. It's out of respect, but it's out of love for the culture. Like you want to bar out.
It's almost if you didn't get named, you should feel disrespected.
That's how I felt.
Right? Like you weren't even like considered on top, on similar tier to even be called out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like if you got that ability, it is kind of like barring out, like we fighting to the death.
Yeah.
But it's still all love competitively. It's like, it's just everyone wants to be the best, but a lot of people say that, but they don't want the smoke. You know what I mean?
That's why I find it funny when you see like the J. Cole verses that he does for everybody else, and like they start singing song and then they get into a weird different pocket because the fear of being outbarred or outshined. So
I mean, if I had the the money or opportunity for Cole and Vert, I know what it is, and I'm gonna let him do it.
Yeah.
Because that's why people are gonna play it.
Yeah.
Like that, it is what it is, and I'm not gonna like if Cole's on it, I'm gonna definitely for sure come with a verse. That I'm gonna try to compete, but it's like it's still Cole. But I'm not gonna have him just
I'll be mad if he
come and take over the crib. You know what I mean?
I'll be mad if
Like,
he half-assed it, or if I was like,
yeah.
you want
You don't want a grippy verse?
fuck no.
No comment. Yeah.
It's grippy.
But yeah, when you say stuff like that, it's like they're running away from features. Like I've had so many features out there where I've sent verses and they'll
Bro.
never come back.
Yeah.
And that shit
Absolutely.
aggravating because you're like, man, I took the time out. They be like, oh man, I can't wait. And you like,
Yeah, they hype it up like they're excited to finally get it.
Yeah.
And then you send it, you're like, was it not what you wanted or
yeah,
what? And then you after a while, you're like, nah, man, I killed this.
yeah. And then
Like-
you listen, you're like, man,
Yeah, and then you just like, then you run, then it gets awkward. You run into niggas at shows. You're just like, oh yeah, that trail. Oh yeah. Like, all right,
and you know what it was. You was like this,
the trail off.
yeah.
Irish goodbye.
So
got to get up out of there. Yeah.
and you said that about you and your brother pushing each other. I used to always listen to your songs together and separate, and I think to myself, that's got to be dope to have somebody that's going to push you and know that there's a genuine love there to make sure you got better at your craft. Because a lot of times, nigga, you come across in these cliques and just
I know
in
exactly.
peers,
Yep.
and they don't give you an honest.
They want to keep you where you're at.
Yeah.
Because they want to outshine and it's just I don't know. It with 9-2, like what we did with our clique, it was organic. That was cool. I mean, we had some personal stuff on the other side, but like, and then other people had like they were moving on. They were moving to the next chapter of their lives and stuff. They couldn't just keep doing shows and stuff. So, but I know exactly what you mean. You know, you got people that are like strategically like, all right, we'll keep them here on the thumb. I'll be here, and it's just like, bro, like, but that's a reflection of your crew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like even I'll put it like this, even in like a crew like G Unit, like Yayo knew what place he played. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to outdo what he was doing. Now he out here doing the most interviews. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think everyone like, you know, when you have a team where you're not just competitive against each other, but competitive like, yo, I want our squad to be like the best squad to roll up against any other squad. Like, that's when it's like you're bringing the best out of everybody. And then also when you have a chance to be also open to listen to the criticism and also like, and you don't have to do what everybody says. Everyone's gonna have a different ear, and it's gonna hit everyone different. You know what I mean? But after a while, you gotta listen to the outside looking in, because sometimes you're just too into it. You're too engulfed in your own head. You think you know what it's sounding like, but then again, like me and my brother, sometimes he's going for one thing. I'm like, nah, it's more like this. You know what I mean? That's how it's more sounding. If that's what you were going for, nah, I wasn't. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna play it for you. You know what I mean? So
That's dope though, because I didn't really have that. I didn't have that opportunity to have somebody you knew that was going to genuinely give you a honest critique of it, because you knew that there was a chance that it could be coming from a different place and not from a genuine, I want to see you grow.
that's unfortunate. I mean, because even like I've been fortunate where like even the very few people like guys like you, Kid Dryden. Shout out to Kid Dryden, man.
Yeah, shout out to Kid Dryden.
You know, guys that reached out to me and wanted to do collabs and stuff like that. We actually like broke bread and like did it and
Just
we
triggered me.
like bro, I feel like this. I had to talk to my brother before I came on here. I'm like, hey, I don't know if they're gonna ask me about some shit, and I was like, if it comes up, I might say some shit, but I'm not gonna come out and call niggas out.
But I know that Kid Dryden sent me a bunch of collabs, and I sent them reference tracks back, and he said he lost the fucking beats.
I remember he did. He had something happened with his computer. Or something.
Yeah, and
do remember
I
that,
was so mad because he was like, this shit's fire, bro. We're about to, and he was like, dude, I fucking lost the beat. I said, God damn it.
You're like, no stems, no nothing. Like,
Nothing. Like, and he was like, yeah. And it was like that was a line I remember. I said, we run the free world, no Obama. Like, me and Kid Dryden, we run the free world, no Obama or Biden or something like that. It was
okay.
And I remember just sending that to him, and it was a different pocket I was in at the time, and he was just like, dude, you bodied that. And he lost the fucking beat, and I was like, fuck, that would have been so fire. But
I honestly,
yeah.
can we Kid Dryden? Can we get that? Can we? Maybe not that track.
Kid Dryden's dope to me. So
No, he is 100%. He's one of my favorite artists for sure. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like I'm just thankful for guys like you and Dryden, you know, because when we did do tracks, it was like it was that cohesive, like mutual agreement, like we want to make this track the best that we can make it.
And it
You know
was
what I mean?
love.
Yeah, it was really love, man. I mean, because I've dealt with people that are like, all right, yeah, we'll do a track, and I'm like, I performed on many shows with y'all, and then they're like trying to charge a verse. I'm like, bruh, like for real?
Yeah.
I'm like, it'd be different if like. There's a lot of different circumstances that can make it different. I can go on and on, but it was just like, bro, we in the same circuit right now. Like it just makes no difference. Like I don't understand this, you know. So
And we have to acknowledge that Empire Strikes Back track is to me a IE classic.
I love it.
And
To me, the fact that we were able to pull off the remix as it was just. I was like, oh, bet everyone's down. What I wanted to obviously ultimately was do a video for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And remember we shot at the Vibe.
Yeah.
And I don't know whatever happened with that, but we shot at the Vibe, and that shit was dope to me.
Man, the Vibe, bro. So many memories down there too. Fuck.
But I'm rambling, but
No. I mean, it's been a while too. That's why, dude.
Yeah.
We can catch up on a whole lot.
so what is your top 5 dead or alive artists?
Artists. See, when I saw that, I was like, does he mean artists or does he mean wrestlers? Okay, artists. Let me
Yeah,
see.
we can do both
Well,
actually.
That's art too, though.
Shit.
That shit ain't easy.
Dead or alive, I mean, I will say, this is not going to be in order. I can't even put them in order. What I will say is, not many people may be recognize the name, but he's one of my favorite artists. You may recognize the name, actually. Stack Bundles.
Okay.
Sentimental value with him. Just because of the fact that he was bubbling and finally was about to get blown up and then fucking
Yeah.
shot. R.I.P. So I had to Stack Bundles definitely. He'll probably be number 5 out of the top 5. Let me see. I got to put Jadakiss on there. I'm coming from a place of people that kind of helped raise me. Who else would I put on there? I'll put Jay-Z on there. I'll put Kendrick on there. I got one more spot.
One more.
I'll put Biggie on there.
Took your breath, huh?
Hell yeah.
Hurt her feelings.
Was that a good or a bad thing?
You hurt her feelings.
I'm about to die.
I hurt your feelings. Is it because I didn't name Pac?
Yes.
Yes, she's a Pac.
That
Yeah.
happens.
I love Pac. I have nothing against Pac.
I've never.
He just
I,
came top 5 to him.
Yeah. I mean,
I've always thought Pac was dope, but I've never considered him like the lyrical guy. He's more the passionate.
Yeah, but that's
I don't.
where
It doesn't
that's
take anything
where the
away from
list
his
gets-
legacy.
Yeah,
Like,
he's still dope. Like,
I mean, if it makes you feel better, Sax can go at number 6. We can,
Man, that's your list.
yeah,
yeah, because I just feel like everybody
good.
to each his own. Like everybody has their
Because
reasons.
I had to really get. I was like, oh shit. I was like, there's people. I was about to start picking everyone that ain't alive, and I'm like, wait, there's people that I still like that are here. And I was like, I gotta make room. But I'd be comfortable with that list. I'd be comfortable.
You all right, Des?
I'm okay.
It was between Biggie and Pac.
I mean, I'm not crying.
But-
He didn't say Royce, and I'm not crying.
Yeah.
Oh, see, Royce I love Royce, but I feel like
After that Lupe shit, you gotta take him out.
yeah,
Nah,
I forgot about that shit.
Nah.
God damn.
I'm shooting them bell.
You ain't top 5 now. You got
I'm shooting them bell.
Lupe was out there with his shirt
yeah.
off.
He was walking around the house. Yeah.
I remember I seen that video recently. He's like, I'll battle anybody. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh man,
He meant it.
anybody.
He meant it.
Yeah. So
I do have a question though, because you said something interesting that I think is very important when it comes to any sort of spoken art is finding your voice, because that is probably the hardest thing to do. Like when did you notice like you found your voice? Like how could you tell that this is it?
It had to be. It was after high school. Because we started doing it like when we were young. We were always writing and rapping. And then when we were in high school, we started actually finding an actual studio and paying for studio time and shit. That's why I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to go on a rant here, but I hated when the Best Buy era came out where it was just home studios. I'm like, fuck y'all don't know nothing about working and saving up and having to make most of your time and having your shit rehearsed and recited and you know what I mean. Just making you only paid for 2, and then it's like you get to just do this at home. I'm like, fuck y'all. Yeah.
You sound
But
like
like
an old head already.
yeah, no, it was one of those things where I'm like, it helps make you like, you know, going through all that helps make like it builds the hunger too, you know. But it was around that time after high school when we started actually hitting the studios because I was like, man, I need something to my voice Me and my brother's voice are drastically different. We're twins, but he's like Mufasa, James Earl Jones. I real talk, swallowed a quarter when I was young, and this is how my voice sounded ever since. It's been scratchy. I've had to figure out what works for it. I've had to figure out what works for it when I'm speaking, doing a podcast and all that stuff too. But even rapping and being like, being able to be legible and people who actually understand what I'm saying, a style that actually complements that. I went through a lot of different, like I was listening to Jay Mills. I'm like, okay, maybe the swaggy little thing, like maybe I'll rapping like this. I'm like, nah, man, there's something there. And then I'm getting into Lloyd Banks, who's a little bit more like this and doing the punchlines. And I'm like trying to build it together. Jada Kiss got a raspy voice. He got something that might work for me. It wasn't until like I started experiencing with different like, animated tones in my voice and being able to try to, okay, what song does this kind of energy like can I bring with this? And a lot of it was obviously Joe Budden, his voice too. Schoolboy Q, when he came out, him, Wiz Khalifa, and those guys that kind of were like doing stuff different, that kind of allowed me, I'm like, wait, I don't have to be in this box of all this, and this. I can kind of do different things. And then when I started thinking that way and I'm like, I'm gonna write about these inside jokes I have with my friends, and this shit's gonna sound dope because it rhymes with some other shit that's dope. And the person that gets is gonna get it. But the person who's not in all the jokes, I'm like, oh, this sounds like when I started not giving a fuck and started writing more about like, this is what I do, and I'm gonna make it sound enjoyable, and I started having more fun with it. That's when I'm like, this is me. This is me. And then like, of course, when I got my brother, then I'm like barring the fuck out. He's like, where the fuck did this come from? I'm like, it's been in there. It's just been chilling. But
So
it took a while. It was a process for sure.
as we talk about barring out, what is your writing process when it comes to that? Like, do you take? Some people brag and take hours. Some people say they take days, months.
It depends. It really depends. It depends on who I'm on the song with. If I'm writing with my brother, if I'm doing a writing session with him, we'll take a whole day and get like a rough draft going, and then over the weeks kind of chop it up and tighten it up. But yeah, when me and him, right, it's just fun. We just start drinking. We might smoke like beforehand, but we just play the beat on repeat. My brother's funny. We're opposite. I like to hear the beat in the area, but I just walk around in circles and just be thinking. My brother does the same thing, but he can't hear the beat. He has to be away from the beat. So it's like we'll come up with ideas, and then we split off, and then we come back, and then we kind of like play, and we're like, oh, okay, I see what she was doing there. So that I miss because I keep telling Doc, if you're here listening, one more Tower album. We only did one more Tower album. We did a mixtape. I want an album. I'm just saying. I know you're busy, but I'm down to work with you. Like he's not my twin brother. But yeah, I mean, with my writing process personally, I like to listen to the beat like all day. I'll have it in my head, and then I'll just be writing all day. My job, similar to you, I mean, I ain't whipping the big whips, but I got the Sprinter van. I be doing the Amazon thing, so I be like Bluetoothing it up. I be driving, dropping shit off, rapping. There's so many people that got Ring cameras of me rapping, just out loud, just like.
You might be on TikTok and don't know.
Like, yeah, I'm sure. Because if it's not for that, it's for me for sure. Saying hi to their pets, because I'm a dog and a cat guy. So like they'll probably see me roll up with the beard and be like, oh, what's up, kitty?
Oh,
Chilling. That's what, man. Get out this shade, bro. Just talking mad shit. But yeah, the writing process, that's basically me, man. Sometimes I might have some shit I already had that has no beat to it. Just a rhyme scheme that I'm like, I got something here. I'm gonna leave this here before I get rambling, and I gotta try to find a beat to that I'll keep it there knowing I got some shit I can branch off of. And then if I hear a beat, I'm like, okay, does this fit? What's the mood? Can I fit this in there? And then sometimes I'll be piecing shit together. Like I'll have different pieces and I'll figure out a bridge to get there. That's the fun part. It gets difficult, but because I don't like to be complacent with the bars, bro. Sometimes the challenge in itself to make a great, like, you know how it is. You're like, I can't leave this on the canvas like this. Even the track you sent me, that was important to me because that was the first time I ever spoke about my father in a positive light. And it had to happen after he passed, unfortunately. Didn't have the best relationship with him while he was here. Said a few things about it while he was here because he didn't. I ain't gonna get into it, but it wasn't until he passed and I found out a lot more about him where I was like able to open up, and I needed a place to put that. So I thank you because
I still got that song.
No, it's one of those things where I'll listen to it sometimes when it comes on random, I can't listen to it. But when I'm in the mood, I'll absolutely play it. That took me a minute because, again, it's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like I'm leaving a real sentimental message here. I'm leaving a piece of myself that I don't normally do or feel like I'm unable to do in real life. That's what's crazy. Brandon can't do it. Kwency Jones can do it. Kwency Jones can formulate that art, take that pain, take that confusion, take all those feelings that you felt all those years and try to make something beautiful with it. Who knows, man? The world's full of energy. Who knows? Your dad's going to hear this. It's going to make him feel good because you never said nothing good about him and you found out later he actually was proud of what y'all did. He just didn't understand it. You know what I mean? So it's like stuff like that. Like I said, that's why I mean it depends on the record, the circumstances, what the energy is. If it's a party record, I get that done in like a day or two. Because that's just what Kwency Jones does. Kwency Jones makes that bounce music.
Let me
You know,
ask
when he
you a
wants to.
question here.
Yeah.
Is your notebook neat?
I
Or is
don't
it
do
all-
notebooks
what-
no more.
So when you wrote, was it neat or was it
No,
all over the place?
No, it was all over the place. When I did have it, I tried. My writing is neat. Like
Yeah.
everyone, I get always complimented for my writing. I grew up with a grandma, Jamaican grandmother, British influence, so she was making sure we was on the up and up. So my shit was on point. But I would always write well, just real, clear, but mess.
Yeah,
My
I was
brother,
like, did you
oh
have
my
something
God.
here, and you're like, no, put that shit over here.
Yeah, not
No,
so like
take
now.
that shit out and put that shit
It got so bad that I use the laptop or my phone now because sometimes I'm like the ideas are too fast for me to write, and it's like I used to feel bad. I'm like, man, I'm cheating. Niggas got notebooks. I'm out here. I can't whip out the laptop. I'm like, I can't be like cannabis in the middle of the battle and try to read off the tab.
pad,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? I was like, but I mean, it's just one of those things where I like. Sometimes the ideas flow a little bit quicker, a little bit more fluid, and I'm able to like instead of like you said, I'm gonna rip this. I'm like, oh no, I could just copy and paste, put them together, But yeah, I mean, when it was physical, like written, we used to write on everything, receipt paper.
Yeah.
Like we be in Taco Bell waiting for our food, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, let me put that in here, and make sure. I forgot about this. You know what I mean? So it's like, shit, we used to write on anything and everything, newspapers, like. Anything that was paper, napkins, everything. Yeah.
I just know the invention of the notepad and phone saved my career
Man.
because I chicken scratch. I tell you, no one else can understand my lyrics
Brother.
but me.
I forgot about those days because you be sitting up there like, man, I remember I killed them. Let me read that again. You're like, and you folded it so many times maybe. You might even have folded it. You're like, fuck, what does that say, man?
Yeah.
And then you get mad at yourself like, nah, I wouldn't have said that. But I said that.
Like I've written on
Did I
boxes
say it?
before.
Yeah, I've done that.
Just
Yeah.
shout out to UPS.
Why you bring that box home? Mind your business. I'm making history.
Bars.
I'm barring out.
But the one thing before we move on is I've never got to do the back and forth verse with someone.
Oh,
I never got to do that in my entire career. I've never did the whole back and forth, one bar, going back and forth. I never got to do that. I want to do that one time.
It ain't too late.
Now,
You're talking like you're done. Like, what are you talking about?
It ain't too late.
Can we? Has there ever been a? Because I'm familiar. You're talking about like the Jada Kidd styles.
Yeah.
They like to popularize it.
Well-
Done it only once with my brother. I would love it if us three could do it. Have you ever been a three artists back and forth?
I don't know, but I'm game.
With Bone Thugs.
Oh,
Sure,
yeah,
at
that's
some
true.
point they did.
Hot
Some of
potato
the
ass.
lesson,
Yeah. Nah, but like if I were to pick like if I'm picking hitters on a track to do some shit like that, it's definitely gonna be you and Die.
Sounds like it should happen.
I'm game.
Just
I know it.
like,
I'm game
I know it.
because I've never done it before. I'm excited to try.
I mean, he's free next
So we
Saturday.
just need one.
We
We
just-
need one.
See one.
You hearing this?
Hear that, Doc?
The gauntlet's been thrown down.
But moving on, what made you decide to get into the world of wrestling?
That, like I was saying, is kind of hand in hand with when it came to the music stuff. Like, same thing. Sit us down, try to keep us busy. Because again, we're too. I mean, my mom has so many stories of us, trying to take us to the mall and getting lost, or like, and then we get lost, and then they'd be like, oh, we'll call your parents. What's your names? We'll tell them two different names. We wouldn't even tell them our real names. My mom's like wondering where the fuck we're at. We're like, is Anthony and Jason around? She's like, who the fuck is Anthony and Jason? You know what I mean? I'm like, so it's just one of those things where she's like, we come from a Jamaican family, and wrestling is part of those pastimes. And we just saw it on TV one day. I think my uncle came over, and then he was watching it, and he just sat us down, and he was just watching us, and it was on from there. Like, same thing, big characters, just these over the top, like just the imagery, the pageantry, you watching these big muscle dudes just like beating dudes up. Like, I mean, at a time where you're like, there's a lot of cartoons and stuff like that. I'm like, this is like a cartoon in real life. Like, this is kind of crazy. This guy got his face painted. This guy's fucking dead. What the hell's going on? You know what I mean? Like, this guy's getting all the girls. This guy, I'm just thinking like, man, what? And then so from there, just kind of like, we just never stopped watching it. And then obviously we still watching it to this day. You know what I mean? But it's like, we just never stopped watching it. From there, it just kept getting bigger and bigger. I mean, we were in the era when it got, Stone Cold, The Rock, at the height of it in high school. Everyone's doing the DX chop and shit, you know what I mean, to their teachers and shit, telling them to suck it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was one of those things where it was like, man, I look back, I'm like, I was fortunate to grow up during that time of wrestling. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's kind of always been in our blood. Started going to shows when we figured out like, oh wow, they actually come out to Anaheim Pond or like the Staples Center and shit. We didn't even know about any of that. Like, my mom kept us so like, I don't think she wanted us to know because then she's like, fuck, I'm gonna have to go take them. You know what I mean? She's like, let's just keep it in the house. You know what I mean? This bad enough they're already wrestling all over the fucking house. So when we figured that out, when we started making our own money, we're like, oh, we're gonna start going to shows, and then we found out about independent shows. We're like, wait, people are doing independent shows.
That's a big scene. Like,
Yeah, when we broke into that, and then we found out, oh, this is where all the guys we started liking came from, and we're digging deep in the tapes. Like, this is him before he was him, before he changed his name to that, and we're just like, damn, this is crazy. We got into ROH, we got into fucking TNA. We started getting like weird stuff about like with the, those little those people that used to put those advertisements in your mailbox. We started getting these ads for TNA. We're like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, yo, is that Road Dogg? Is that Billy Gunn? I'm like, why they calling them different names? And I'm like, yo, who are these dudes, right? And then we tuned into it. That's a whole nother world in itself. You know what I mean? Got into ECW. That was a whole nother fucking realm. But as far as getting into it on the business tip, that kind of came like secondhand. Like, I mean, I'm climbing to the hill of 40. You know what I mean? And the IE again with the IE scene, I'm like, dude, it's just one big circle.
Yeah, I call it the circle jerk.
Yeah, I used to call it the IE circuit, but it is the IE circle jerk. I mean, it's just a lot of unnecessary gatekeeping for some bullshit, and it's like, they make you dance for shit that it's just like, what happened to earning it, community, brotherhood, all the, I don't know, man. I can get into it, but I don't want to get into it. But because of that, I was a little already disfranchised, just disenfranchised from like even wanting to continue. I remember the first, I mean, not to call him out or anything like that. I just remember the last show we did, what happened to be, it was like at the Vibe, and we were just chopping it up with Noah James about like the new 2K, the WWE game that came out. But it was just like this kind of like half-assed like conversation on both sides, where it was almost like we kind of knew, where I was like, I don't think we're gonna do another show out here. Like, we just kind of like, it was just, I don't know, like the energy was weird. A lot of energy was weird. Like when we did the South by Southwest thing, that's when it got real weird. That's when it got real. We don't know why it like there was a lot of hate that came from that, and we didn't understand why. Yeah.
I just say I watch everything.
I started being like you and just sitting back and just like, oh, okay, I see. Like, I mean, because we started hearing shit, when we came back, and we're like, bro, we're trying to like, we're not here to, I don't know, man. Again, I don't want to make this episode about all that shit, but long story short, kind of figured out like, okay, the rap thing, I'm 34, 35 this time. I'm like, I'm not getting signed. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Like, you know what I mean? But I still enjoy doing music. I can do different things. At this point, I got more into doing media, content creating, video editing. I was working with a few local wrestling, like indie companies. It didn't last too long, but it was still like a little bit of experience, and then ended up starting another company, Rival Pro Wrestling, with my brother and Big Rob, the champ, and another friend of ours named Adam. And I will shout out to Uriah Styles as well. I don't want anyone to confuse anyone else that was not in that group, and they know who they are. But we started that, and we just weren't creatively fulfilled, honestly. And we'd have no hate with Rival. We built something great. I mean, they're about to do their 7-year anniversary this year. But it was like, we just felt like we were investors. Like, we would like pitch stuff, and like we want to do stories. Like, we're thinking, because we were only run four 4 shows a year, so every 3 months, quarterly. But we're like asking questions like, all right, but why would we run this match 3 months ago? Does anyone remember? Are we going to do anything in between to get them to remember? What are we doing to get them to invest in the next show? Like, we're just throwing matches together, like, and then we expect people to remember what happened 3 months ago without like trying to put, like, I would put together video packages and stuff to like try to review, and then I'd send it to them, and like, I would go out of my way to do it. They wouldn't tell me to do it, and they'd be like, oh yeah, this is cool. Or I get little to no, response. I'm like, tell me it sucks. I don't give a fuck. Tell me it sucks, but tell me, are we in the right direction here? Could this help? Because I'm thinking like, how do we increase ticket sales? How do we increase attendance? And, we can't just be like, well, see you in 3 months. You know what I mean? And so there was a few things that we just felt like for what we were paying and investing in, we should be able to do something to create some sort of decision in some of these things. A lot of things were, I'll just be real. Some things were held back information wise that we found out later. But even that wasn't the reason why we left. We ended up wanting to start our own thing just because, again, we just felt creatively stifled. Like, we just, okay, I can't make rap, but I'm still an artistic guy. I can't just keep paying money to, like, it's like the difference between being a promoter and wanting to put on a great show. A promoter just wants to pay all the local guys that they can, hey, sell all the tickets for me, and then, we'll just, maybe we'll put your name on the marquee, but we got Blue and fuck, I don't know, whoever fucking they always bring in. We just need you to sell the tickets and bring in the interest. You know what I mean? But yeah, you got 10 minutes, you got 10. It's like, okay, whatever. Or we could be the show that people look forward to going to, that people look forward to wanting to work for. So I thought that was the real difference. I mean, again, it's no shade towards Rival Pro. We just, within us, we're like, we just want a little bit more out of this. And so we took the steps to kind of do that. And it was funny because we named it, Winner Circle Pro.
That's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, man, Winner Circle Pro Wrestling. And it's funny because it's like life gives you things, Winner Circle Pro, or Winner Circle in itself, was an inside joke. That's what we called our inside crew. We're just like, we heard it a few times, us say it on a few songs. Winner Circle, Then I thought, I'm like, that's actually kind of the perfect name for a wrestling company. I mean, I talked to my brother about it because we were frustrated again, us dealing with Rival and just again, not nothing against them, just wanting to do more. And then our best friend, we would vent to him all the time, and he was a big time like fan as well, but he also was a writer. Shout out to him. Check out Fettered Space comic book out now. He don't ever want to promote. He ain't a social media guy, but I gotta let him know. Check it out, Fettered Space. But yeah, he does comic books. He's very much into like a lot of writing. He does a lot of writing for bits and videos you see a lot of on YouTube and shit. But yeah, we just kept talking about it for so long, and we're like, yo, let's just do this. Let's just do our own thing. And then we kept talking about doing our thing, and then I ended up getting into a little bit of money, and where I was like, fuck it, I got some money to spend. I just bought a belt. And I figured if I buy the belt, this makes it serious. And that's where it started from. I bought the belt, showed it to them. They're like, oh shit, are we doing this? I'm like, we're doing this, dude. And then from then, 2 years of planning, because everyone rushes into it. 2 years of planning, still learning every day. You know what I mean? But, shout out to everyone that's been working with us for the last 2 years. We're on our second year now. Established last year in November is when we actually made the announcement. But yeah, man, been hitting the ground running. I gotta watch myself because I know there's stuff I can't talk about yet, but it's been real exciting. And it's weird to say like this because I still love making music. We even made a theme song for our actual company, so it's like we have something to play when people get there, or if we have any type of YouTube video, then we have something to play on the trail end of it. But it's one of those things where I'm like, man, why is this theme song doing exponentially so much more well than anything I've ever done as an artist? And it's like because they're appealing to a different crowd. The wrestling crowd is different, but also kind of the same when it comes to rap. Like there's a different loyalty there. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. It's a bunch of different things where I'm like, you know what? I'm not mad at where I'm at all. Even with the music, I'll still always make music when I want to. Like I said, I always tell my brother, I'm like, unless it's a Tower album or doing a 9-2 album, I'm like, bro, I'm always down to do a verse. Be the feature taker as I call myself. So I just pop out like the Undertaker every couple WrestleManias. Anybody that want a 16, I'll give it to them. You know what I mean?
I will say you're one of the few artists when I get a verse from you, I'm like, I got to take this one serious as shit. I mean, usually take it serious, but
Well,
when I
when
hear,
you ask
you
me
know,
for a verse, I take it serious.
yeah,
as shit,
because it was like I hear the bars coming, I'm like, yeah, this nigga's about to bring some shit, so I gotta lock in. So it's sometimes there's certain
that's
ones.
preemptive because sometimes I even heard your shit. Yeah, I'm just like I know he's coming with some shit, so I got.
It's not a half-ass thing because you got a love for the art. So yeah, but as I asked this question because I think there is an interesting parallel between music and wrestling because it seems like a lot of rappers you see they make references to wrestling.
Yeah.
So, but who is your favorite wrestler of all time?
Oh, I thought you were gonna ask me a question because my favorite wrestler of all time is it's gonna be Shawn Michaels. I mean, he's the first guy I ever saw. It's a close second to Razor Ramon. I know not a lot of people put him up there because they're like he never wanted to strap. I'm like, bro, him and Kevin Nash changed the business, so whatever. But first guy I ever was like, who the fuck is this dude? You know what I mean? Because I saw Hulk Hogan, I was like, okay, whatever. Like I was more like, oh, who's this Macho Man dude? You know what I mean? I'm like, who's this dude spazzing next to him more than I'm like, all right, whatever, another jacked up white dude tanned up. I never cared for Hulk Hogan, even before all this shit that happened. I never cared for Hulk Hogan. But as far as the guy that got me really into it and got me to believe in wrestling, it was Shawn Michaels at a very young age. Yeah.
So
It was a dance move, huh?
It was honestly specifically he had a match against Vader that it's funny now that when I'm a grown man and I watch back, you see that there's so much shit that went wrong in the match and he's like shooting on him and yelling at him, which you don't notice as a kid. You just think, oh man, he's just beating this big dude's ass. I'm like the fact that he was able to beat down Vader and win, I was like, oh shit, dude. I ain't thinking that. Like it made me believe that anybody could beat anybody at that young age. So I always credit Shawn Michaels as probably my top. Yeah.
he is in my top as well.
I mean, I know a lot. I mean, Kendrick mentioned him.
That's what I was about to say.
You know?
How did you feel when you heard "Not Like Us" and that reference, the Sweet
So
Chin
the
music?
funny thing is, I was on the phone talking to my who I call my business partner. He's my little brother. Shout out to Jay Moolah. We always be on some deep talks. So we was talking, and then it literally was hilarious. It was like almost like we got the message at the second plane hit, because he's like, "Hey, yo, my nigga, I'm gonna have to call you back. I just got a word that K-Dot just dropped." Oh shit, me too. Hey, I'll call you back. Didn't talk to him for a whole week. Finally came back and talked. I'm like, nigga.
Yeah.
Like when I heard that, I was like, like everyone else, mustard on the beat. I'm like, oh shit.
It's a problem.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Because I don't think I've ever heard Kendrick on a mustard beat before. And I didn't know how this was going to go. But when I heard it was like the way it was, I was like, I'm not mad at all because he told him that I'm going to get back to that for the record. I'm going to hit you with the back-to-back. I'm going to make a diss song and make it catchy, and they're going to play it on the radio. They play back-to-back to this day on the radio. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like...
Not no more.
No. It's like they be trolling though. They be playing Kendrick songs, like old songs, and then they go right into like a old Drake song that got Ross on it. I'm like, why even play this anymore? I'm like, does Ross even get paid off this anymore? I'm like,
There just needs to be a Kendrick drop. Like, man, damn, call the ambulance. Tell him breathe, bro.
man. Like someone was trying to tell me like, oh man, Kendrick, he's so into wrestling. He knew that Shawn Michaels hated Canada just as much as he hates. I'm like, bro, I'm a fan. It's not that deep. That's a reach, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, Sweet Chin Music, I won't pass the ox. That's a dope bar. I was mad. I never thought of that being a fan of him. I was like, this ain't fair. It made me want to rap again, but I was like, I semi-retired, whatever.
That was my fafavorite. That is my favorite line.
Yeah. That's for me. It's like that's the build-up
Because
spot.
it connects to child. For me, it connects to childhood watching wrestling. Because I knew exactly what he was talking about.
And then
when
you
I
said
heard it.
Jabroni too.
Yeah, Jabroni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for me, Rock was my favorite wrestler.
Rock is that dude, man.
Rock was my
And
favorite
I wasn't mad that he came back. I was so happy he came back
Well,
and people
he
hated him
helped
so
that
much.
shit a lot.
Yeah.
He revitalized fucking. wrestling.
I had homies coming up to me like, "Hey, yo, man, that Roman Reigns." I'm like, "Bro, you ain't never had a conversation with me about wrestling before. You just know I'm in it, right?" But they would come up like, "Yo, but that shit with The Rock." I'm like, "You watching?" My cousins texted me, "Yo, you see Snoop Dogg on commentary?" I was like, "Yo, this is crazy." Like, yeah, he got a lot of people back into that shit, man.
It made me want to watch again. I ain't watched wrestling since high
I
school.
started watching because one of my homeboy wrestles out in Florida, and he came out to Washington, and he was like, "Come out here," and I was
What's
like,
his
"Yeah, I'll
name?
come watch this at DMC."
DMC.
But he, I didn't realize how that shit worked until I went there, and I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, this is the industry." Like, he
Yeah,
started as
it's crazy.
comedy so he could get his stage.
Oh,
presence
nice.
up, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, I didn't realize that's what you was doing. That's dope."
No, because there's a lot of guys that we deal with, they're like they're good in the ring, but they can't.
No
Yeah.
presence.
And you see it on TV too. You know, they're like, okay, we're only gonna have you say 2 words.
Yeah, you technically
know,
sound, brother, but
yeah. You're like, but on this microphone, I think you know. And there's a lot of guys even you hear they'll do like they'll go to acting classes and stuff like that to help out with that. I'm like, hey man, whatever helps. You know, help you getting what you pay for.
I didn't know the locker room was sacred though.
Yeah.
I met someone there and they were like, he's in the back, come on. And then I went back there and I saw his face. He was like, y'all motherfuckers ain't supposed to be back here.
Yeah, because because what happens is that it's like going backstage at a magic show. You're like, oh, hey, this is all the tricks. This is the saw that they, you know. It's like it's unauthorized area. It is sacred. Like even when we do shows, we do like a double curtain because sometimes people try to like peek in and stuff like that. So it's like even on the entranceway, people try to see if anyone's gonna run out, and we're like, nah, we gotta hide that shit, dude. Like we gotta upkeep the magic, as they say. You know what I mean? The element of surprise. Yeah,
we should.
Well, the funny thing about that is probably because he's gonna get in trouble for it.
He said afterwards,
like, y'all got me heat.
They gave me some shit.
Yeah, because we've had to keep people out. We're like, yo, who are you? Like, oh, I'm friends with her. I'm like, okay, and who? She's been paid. She can leave. Like, you know, like it's just one of those. Like, it's I don't know. It's a whole different. It definitely is a different world.
It's a different world. It was cool though because like, you could watch. When I was just out there chopping up with people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, so and so, he's like the next one up," and I'm like, "Damn, that circuit is like you see what's coming."
Yeah,
like, and it's just like, all right,
it's kind of cool because you'll see them make like you know they'll do more reps outside their home state, and you're like, "Oh shit, okay, they're getting some looks," you know, and then you might see them on TV. You know what I mean? They might get beat up, but they're on TV. You know what I mean? Like you know, someone saw some of them to put in a word for them to do something. You know, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. But yeah, the indies is like, I feel like indies are like and one, right? And then like you try to like get the attention, like, oh, you know, he has potential. He can be molded into an NBA player. You know what I mean? I don't think it's that everyone got that, but like it's definitely it's been cool. Like yeah, I see. I'm about to get ahead. I can't talk because we booked a big name and we were supposed to now we gotta announce it, but we can't announce it yet. So, but it's just certain cool things get to happen that I'm like, man, I used to go to meet and greets and now I'm booking some of y'all. Like this is cool. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? This is, and it's like until like even like right now, me saying it out loud, I'm like, I don't get enough chances to like think about that. You know what I mean? It's just been so go with everything. It's only 3 of us that do it. You know what I mean? Nice. You know, shout out to my brother. He's handling a lot of the social media and the talent. You know, he talks to a lot of the talent. My boy Mark, again, he's creative and he also helps out. His brother helps us out too. He's our miscellaneous dude. You always need a miscellaneous guy. His you know, on screen he's the DJ, but behind he's the one that's building everything. If some shit electrical goes wrong, he knows what he got to do. Like he electrician, like he's not, but he's all that by trade. You know what I mean? He knows like so. So he's been helping us out a lot, man. But it's like, again, I do the commentary, I do a lot of the video editing and all that stuff too. Any video packages you may have seen out, that was my work. And I say that because I'm trying to get that out there. I'm trying to say, you know, if anyone needs work, holla at me, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it's just been super, like, I know people keep saying, oh, dream job, dream come true. I'm like, yes, no. I mean, there's ups and downs, but I'm like, I'm blessed because, again, we're only 2 years in, and the amount of organic support that we have is insane. Yeah. Not everyone survives this. You know, it's like, we're like, you know, in rap terms, sophomore jinx. Mm-hmm. That first album I hit, how's that second album going to hit, right? Mm-hmm. Is it going to keep the audience, right? So we were always like wary of that. Is the second show going to hit? Is the second year going to hit? Are they still going to mess with us? We went from that to selling out before the show starts. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, people are really fucking what we're doing. And we just keep, you know, we're trying to do our own thing. We're trying to carve out our own identity and not do what everybody else is doing. There's a lot of options for what other people are doing. So we're like, why be just another one of them? Let's be us. People know where to go to get our product. And let's just try to figure out, keep our ear to the street, finger on the pulse, what works, what don't work. We're not going to be right all the time, but it's like we have a certain like agenda. We've been planning this out for 2 years. And when I mean we had names as a roster of people we knew that were going to be part of this show from years ago. And a lot of that's come to fruition. People that we wanted to book come to fruition. So it's like a lot of manifesting, a lot of just, you know, putting in a lot of work behind the scenes and not just being a couple of guys, as they call money marks, which are a bunch of guys that got money to throw shows and pay a bunch of big names to come in. And that's not everybody, but there's a lot of those guys in there, and those are the ones that don't last. And that's the one big thing we didn't want to do is come off like a couple of those guys. And, again, I'm fortunate to like go out to, I'm still a fan. So I'll go to an indie show in between our shows and I'll rock my colors, because I just, it's my company. Yeah. Everywhere I go, people are like, oh shit, hey, that last show though. And I'm like, man, I ain't seen you in 2 months. But it's like they're excited to see us, especially when me and my brother, we get that twin thing on. We use that, you know what I mean? Because it's like we meet them at the door, we're greeting them, we're saying hello to everybody, we're making sure everybody's feeling, the biggest compliment we ever gotten from one of our shows is, and I don't take it lightly because we continue to try to make this the case, is we get a lot of the women who come in and they tell us, thank you for making us feel safe at your show. Oh, nice. And it's stuff like that, input like that is super valuable in terms of like, okay, we're not just catering. Yeah, it's mostly guys that watch wrestling, but I'm like, that is just as much as important as putting on a good show. You know what I mean? Like we could have put on a good show, but at the moment somebody didn't feel safe for whatever reason, man or woman or whatever in between, it's like, that's where we fail, So it's like also hearing that, we're like, oh shit, this is also not just a wrestling show, this is a customer experience as well. You know what I mean? And having to maintain that expectancy, the quality of that, the experience of that, and the safety as well. So knowing that had to be also just as imperative as trying to make sure everything else is looking great. We got the branding on point. The flyers are looking great. Yeah, but do we have anybody with any cases on our show? And that's a real thing.
You're running a whole ass business. Yeah.
It really, and there's times where we have to make decisions like, hey man, we can't book you. We wanted to book you a couple months ago, but then this came out and sorry,
like
you know what I mean?
Too, like, some people will just take the shot and be like,
seen it, seen it, and they'll double down in the comments, and they're, like it's. And granted, they like to separate the person from whatever it is, the ideologies or whatever you want to call it. But I'm like, bro, like these are people that are having personal experiences with your customers, and they don't like it. You got to, as much as you may not agree, you got to take that into consideration because, like you said, it is a business. And the reason why I'm so big on that is because of the fact that we live in this pussified cancel culture. All it takes is one tweet and rally the troops to put you under the jail type mentality. I hate it. And I'm not saying that because I want to be free to say any type of shit I want, but we're in a world that it's also, we're navigating in a minefield that changes daily. People get offended by one thing one week and then it's not, or maybe because you're not this demographic, it shouldn't be as offensive. It's hard because it's one of those things where if you book the wrong person, someone's, oh, did you know that guy's a bigot? Oh, everybody should boycott this show. I can't believe they're supporting bigots. They're supporting this guy's anti-trans, this guy's homophobe. Like, so it gets down to that a lot, and not a lot, but like more times than we like to admit, again, because of the social media stuff, and we do take it serious because all we need is someone to be like, oh, I didn't feel safe for the show, and then it's, oh man, Winter Circle Pro, they don't throw safe shows. You know what I mean? And we can't have that, and that goes down even to like what goes on in the ring too. I mean, I've been at a show where they had someone went through a table. They didn't have any seats. Everyone was standing room, right? So that someone went through a table. The table was inside the ring, but it was in the corner.
Yeah.
It exploded, right? There was a kid. Luckily, the kid didn't get hurt, but it went like, it was. She was sitting right in behind that turnbuckle, like on the corner. But
how many times did your heart beat in that second when you went?
Man, and I was on commentary like next to her, and we were like, oh, like we were thinking, man, this is, we're gonna have to shut this shit down. Yeah. Like, this is not, this is, but. I don't know, man. It's been one of those things like, we do it right. We got everything's trademarked. We got all our paperwork in order. We do the insurance and all that shit because there's a lot of outlaw stuff that happens, man. We just never want to put ourselves in the position. But with that said, July 26th, Friday in Chino,
that's what I was gonna
Money,
ask.
Power, and Respect. Come down, man. It's going to be third show of our second year. Got a lot of great matches, man. That's all I can say.
That's what's up.
Okay.
So with that being said, and heading out, the last question.
Sure.
What are your goals and future plans in music and wrestling?
Music, what I would love to do, top of my list is do another album with my brother, and that's just personal bucket list. Because I mean, the fact that we've only had 2 projects together, and I've known him all my life,
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's kind of crazy. We have so many solo projects, but we don't have many duo projects. That's just a personal. But I would love to write. Just, I don't need to be in the spotlight, dude. Like, I'm not trying to be at these Diddy parties. No, but for real, I would like to just write for people. You know what I mean? I was really against it before, but I'm like, if it's like something that's going to be in a movie, video games, you know what I mean, film, something that's going to collect revenue, you know what I mean? I'm more on that. Like, I'd love to do music. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm going to get signed at I'm 38 now. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get signed. It's not that who's signing 38-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? There's no mark. It's all about these the young mumbles, as I call them. But it's just one of those things where with music, I think there's so much more than to just be just a slave of the industry. Like, there's other avenues to make money, you know, and be able to be comfortable, you know. So stuff like that. I've been thinking more about like the writing, getting into back into producing, I should say. I just been real lazy about it. I'm trying to get my Fruity Loop set up back up. But as far as wrestling, man, we want to become one of the best companies in SoCal, man. I mean, Southern California has like the biggest hotbed for independent wrestling. So it's like there's a hole that was left because a lot of guys got signed. So right now, we're able to kind of rebuild a little bit with the foundation, and there's a lot of other companies doing a great job as well. I'm not trying to single us out, but as far as us, we want beef with everybody. Like that. That's how. It's funny. That's how we are. We're competitive. It's not like we don't counter program our shows against anybody else's at all. We do our thing. But when we see, like you said, we watch everything. Mm-hmm. We see somebody doing something, we're like, fuck. You know, we're like, all right, we got to come with some shit. You know what I mean? Or, okay, this is what they're doing. Okay, we got to make sure we got our promotion on point. Or, you know what I mean? It's just stuff like that. But I want to be the biggest company we could be, man. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, I would love to open a wrestling school. Winter Circle Pro Academy would be dope. I mean, we'd love to throw, you know, on the low end, 2 more shows. We'd love to run 6 shows in a year. Again, we're still starting out, trying to get the finances on it. We would love to stream live. Would love to get a couple of guys signed. And that's the name of the game with us, to be honest. Like, we love what we're doing. Our number one thing is contributing to the culture. We're not here to fucking suck the life out of the culture and rap about shit you don't be about, nigga.
Okay, you know who you is.
Yeah, he knows who he is because you sub all day at 3 a.m. And on Facebook with nothing but fucking contrarian ass opinions to fucking try to fight with niggas, and it's fucking lame. Do the shit you been doing. That Linkin Park shit was cool, man. Like, I don't understand, bro. Like, shit's it's debating is so fucking whack. Anyways, but with that, it's like,
Wait,
we at the end of the day,
He know who he is.
we got
Okay?
He knows
smoke.
who he
Hey,
is.
smoke.
He know who
4th
he
of
is.
July's over, but the smoke's still here.
Period.
I mean, like, niggas know. I mean, that's my thing. Is I told my brother I'm not gonna say shit, but I'm just like, niggas know. You know what I mean? I have records addressing it that are not out. So I understand why. Politics, it's fine. It's fine, guys. It's all entertainment. And that was your other question. Why does rap and wrestling correlate? Because of this.
Yeah.
There's these personas, man, and everyone likes to be egotistical about shit. You can't let niggas steal your shit, man. That's the biggest thing. But contributing to the culture is what we're about. We want to give back. This is something we grew up on. This is everything that, you know, everyone's like, man, I'm not surprised. Y'all always love her. I'm like, exactly. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is just fit. It's a perfect fit. You know what I mean? So with us, what we'd love to do, the perfect compliment for us is to have somebody that is so good that we've booked so well on our shows that they get noticed by somebody, WWE, AEW, whoever it is. If we can get somebody to get signed off of like what we've been doing, like that's the perfect stamp for us. You know, I mean, there's a lot of guys that deserve to get signed right now. That's the crazy thing about it. So I mean, in terms of like bullet points, you know, more shows streaming on a low end, but get people signed and just become just a powerhouse, man. Just continue what we're doing. You know, we're not doing anything. You know, we're not trying to Hail Mary anything. The growth has been a great learning process for us as well. We don't act like we know everything, but we take what we learn and, you know, put it towards the next and then just keep trying to keep building, man. But as far as this, yeah, just trying to be the best we can, dude. Trying to be one of the best top tier names in SoCal, so to speak.
The best there is.
Yeah.
The best there was.
Absolutely.
The best there ever will be.
And not co-sign. I know I said I'm a Sean fan, but I like Brett too. I like Brett too.
I just like the saying. I'm not rocking with Canada at the moment. So
No, it ain't about Canada. It's just about, the technical prowess inside the ring. I
Yeah.
can separate the man from the region.
sharpshooter.
Yeah, sharpshooter. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it.
So with that being said, this has been the second episode of Talk Your Shit
Yes, sir.
with Kwency Jones.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate
y'all,
it.
man.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. I appreciate the opportunity.
is
to talk
fun.
about it. Yeah, man.
I enjoy it. I like giving flowers, and I'm here for the smoke.
You know what it is too? It's like it doesn't help that I'm sitting next to you because I know you ain't gonna be like, nah, man, it's fuck. Because I be seeing some shit on your line. I'm like, I know what he's going through because I know it, man. We all been. It's just I don't know, man. It just you know
My
what it
music
is?
says a lot of shit.
You know what it is? These niggas are not better than us. I think that's why it bothers me. That's why it bothers me. That's the only reason. But again, I am semi-retired. It's cool. If you want to come see me, it's gonna be between those ropes, so I could book it.
I would love to watch a wrestling
you
match.
Get in the ring?
I've refereed a match. I've done. That's the thing. People don't know this. I've done everything besides wrestle. Run sound, set up the ring. I set up the ring for every show. Break it
What are we
down.
waiting on?
I'm 38, sir, and this cracking knee.
I just said the pop might sound different.
I put it like this: if I didn't spend all of my 20s just doing shows and jumping up and down, there's times I'll be going down the stairs. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, is that my knee? I'm like, and I realized I'm like, you were doing a lot of bouncing and stuff when you was in your 20s doing these shows, man. I'm like,
it is rough.
could have been wrestling. could have been getting the bumps in, man. But yeah, I mean, not me. I did it once for my brother's bachelor party.
Oh, so you haven't got in there.
It was a bounce house.
How'd that feel?
But yeah, but I will tell you this. I got choke slammed into a ball pit. And it took me a while to get out. That was kind of scary. So yeah, that wasn't part of the plan. We didn't talk about that.
Shouldn't have told me.
But like my brother, he got to go over. He's the man of the hour. I can't beat him. So we had go big or go home. You know, he's an Undertaker fan anyway. So I was like, you got to get this choke slam, man.
But subscribe, share, comment.
All that shit.
Till next time. Peace.
Peace.
Make sure you tune in again for another episode of Talk Your Shit. One thing I know, two things for sure. I'll be back here every week talking my shit. Thanks for watching. Bye.
I.E. in this bitch love. Never resting on my laurels.